Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Yesterday in Baltimore, rain, snow, ice. Today, a little drizzle about 2 hours ago. The tarp is off the field. Temperatures in the 50s. What a difference a day makes, Laura Okmin.
Getting with the weather, everybody else is getting around the league. We're not complaining. Nobody is about low rain in Baltimore. But along with the wet field, players are going to have to find their footing around new sod that was planted this week. Big chunks after the Army-Navy game. Now, they expected to do that in the end zones and at midfield. But remember when all the cadets stormed the field? That was great for Army, but it was not great for this field. The grounds crew had to re-sod from the bottom of the numbers to the sideline. Guys say right now it's okay, but they expect the field and their shoes to change as the game goes on. Kenny?
Thanks, Laura. That was 8 days ago. Army ending Navy's 14-game win streak. John Harbaugh, in his 9th season in Baltimore, won Super Bowl 47. Ravens at 7-6. They've won 4 straight at home. Doug Peterson's Eagles have lost 6 in a row on the road. Ravens won the toss, elected to defer. Kenyon Barner back deep. Wendell Smallwood placed on IR. Justin Tucker gets things started. Carson Wentz and the Eagles will start from their 25-yard line.
Our first opportunity to sit down and visit with Carson Wentz, and I think all of us walked away extremely impressed with this young man, and that's one of the things that you don't see on the film, the measurables, all the different things that happens when you're trying to select a player. The ability to sit down and find out exactly who he is. Carson Wentz, the intangibles are off the charts.
First rookie in NFL history, Darryl, back-to-back games with at least 30 completions and 300 yards. The last 2 against the Bengals and the Redskins. Ryan Matthews in the backfield. First and 10, 25-yard line. This is Matthews. Looks to cut to the outside, but wrapped up by Lawrence Guy.
And another shift in the offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles. Isaac Seumalo goes out to right tackle. It's been something that's been happening all year long. They haven't been able to get the run game going. That'll be a key today. But good news, Jordan Matthews getting back. That ankle injury, when you're that slot guy that works inside, a lot of start-stop, change of direction, looks much better.
Seumalo, 4th different right tackle for the Eagles this season. Bonner in the backfield. And he takes the handoff from Wentz. Kenyon Barner out to the 27-yard line, setting up a 3rd down and long.
And it's going to be tough running the football into this Ravens defensive front. They're the #1 team in the NFL against the run. And then when you want to go to the pass game, Jimmy Smith is out of the line of some concern from Ravens fans. I think you're going to be okay. Eric Weddle on the back end, as good as anybody with his coverage from sideline to sideline.
There's Weddle, the longtime Charger. Sharice Wright gets the start for the injured Jimmy Smith. 3rd down and 8. 2 running plays to start the game. Eagles must get to the 35-yard line for a 1st down. Wentz stands in the pocket, throws, and it is picked off by Zachary Orr. There is a flag. Craig Rolstad, our referee.
Holding. Offense to the 71. That penalty is declined. The resulting play is an interception. 1st down. Baltimore.
And this is the big thing for a young quarterback, even at this stage of the season, getting pressure. It's part of the Ravens' DNA on defense. Watch the pocket collapse, not clear vision down the field. That's a bad throw by Carson Wentz. You can't make that. Throw it away, line up, punt the ball, force Baltimore to drive the field. Don't give them that short field on the takeaway.
2nd interception of the season for Orr, who is the 4th leading tackler in the entire league. And the Ravens now tied for the league lead with 16 on the season. So an early Philadelphia turnover. Joe Flacco and the Ravens offense starting from the Philadelphia 36. On 1st down, this is Terrence West. West gains a yard. Malcolm Jenkins, the tackle.
Joe Flacco having one of his typical years again this season. And again, another one of those guys you sit down with. It's very fun for us to get to see the development, the maturity of a quarterback. We don't get to see Joe Flacco very often, but when we do, you can just see the growth and the maturity, the development of Joe Flacco at the quarterback position.
On second down and 9, Flacco throws for the first time. It's West, and he has a Ravens first down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Finally caught and tackled by Jordan Hicks after a gain of 17.
You've got to be able to locate your running backs coming out of the backfield. Terrence West on top of the eye, number 28, little play action fake. Jordan Hicks gets caught up in the fake, and Terrence West has him out leveraged by a couple steps right away.
West, the Baltimore native, attended Towson, former Cleveland Brown and Tennessee Titan. Ravens empty the backfield, 1st and 10 from the Eagles' 18. As Flacco throws, it's incomplete in the vicinity of Steve Smith.
Well, Laura talked about the new sod. That's an area that's part of that new stuff that they put down after the Army-Navy game. Now, I didn't expect people to slip on the outside. I think from numbers to the sideline, you should be fine. But Steve Smith is right on that cusp right there. You can see the bottom of the line right there. That's where the new sod happened. He's kind of in that area where you're going to have two different feelings on your feet with the new sod and then the old stuff.
Smith now split wide to the right. 2nd and 10. Inside handoff to West. And West takes it all the way to the Eagles' 5. Rodney McLeod brings him down, but Terrence West gains 13 for a Ravens first down.
And the play goes back inside. You've kind of lost a guy because you're going to have Malcolm Jenkins coming in this way on the blitz. So he's on the outside. Play goes back inside. Now you've got no support. You can see how Malcolm Jenkins got up beyond the ball carrier in that situation.
3 receivers set. Smith now split out to the left. West in the backfield. Flacco on 1st and goal to the end zone. Touchdown, Kamar Aiken.
It was interesting talking to defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've been able to stay relatively healthy on defense, but one big thing that has happened is Ron Brooks, their nickel back, got hurt. Now they've had a kind of a domino effect, so Malcolm Jenkins has to come down, play the slot. That's a matchup right there that favors Baltimore. Kamar Aiken in the slot versus Malcolm Jenkins, a traditional safety.
First touchdown of the season for Aiken. Justin Tucker has never missed an extra point in his career. He is now 162 for 162. So the Ravens capitalize on the short field following the Eagles' turnover. Flacco hits Aiken in the end zone.
This game is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Carson Wentz picked off by Zachary Orr. Ravens lead the league in takeaways. And then moments later, Joe Flacco, 5-yard TD strike to Kamar Aiken. Now a short loop taken by Nelson Aguilar. And Aguilar with a nice return. Out across the 35 to the 37, 27 yards on the return by Aguilar.
Yeah, I like the decision. If you're going to kick high and press to the sideline, your coverage to the wide side of the field still has to respect that. You've got to squeeze everything down into that sideline. A couple guys with not good lane integrity for the Ravens, and you find that running lane.
How about this? Eagles have been outscored in the first quarter on the road this season, 65-9. 3 field goals. They have not scored a first quarter touchdown on the road.
Well, they need points now because this Ravens team, they function. I don't want to call them front runners, but if you let them get out to a lead, now that defense can really start to pressure the opposition's offense. So an important drive here for Carson Wentz.
From the 37, he fakes the handoff to Ryan Matthews. Now it's complete to Trey Burton. And Burton gains a yard. Sharice Wright the tackle. 2nd down and 9. Carson Wentz started the season 3-0. Did not throw a pick over these first 3 games. Remember, he was not supposed to be the start of this season.
Yeah, some very unique situations happening, he really comes into the Eagles organization expecting to learn behind Sam Bradford and Chase Daniel all year long.
And then 8 days before the start of the regular season, Teddy Bridgewater goes down. Eagles trade Bradford to the Vikings. Nice tackle as Jordan Matthews is taken down by Lardarius Webb after a gain of just 3.
But when you bring in a guy to be your franchise quarterback moving forward, you want to get him on the field as quick as possible. So the fact that Carson Wentz wasn't supposed to be the starter this year, but all of a sudden has become the starter this year, he has grown so much in this first season as a starter in the NFL. The strides he's going to take in year 2 are going to be fun to watch.
3rd down and 6. Bonner in the backfield. Eagles must get to the 47 for a first down. Wentz backpedaling. And it's a first down and more for Barner. Kenyon Barner into Ravens territory as he gains 15.
Good play call by Doug Peterson. You know the Ravens like to bring pressure, so you're going to run a little screen pass. I want you to also keep your eye in the center. Jason Kelce does a great job. He's very athletic. You're asking your center all the way to get out there. Now that decision right there. The positioning. Yeah, he could have hit Zachary Orr right in the back and knocked him down, but he's going to get a flag. He works the position, just gets in the way, and doesn't allow the referee to throw the flag.
Bunch formation to the right from the 44-yard line. Wentz near side, the foot's away from Barner, and then diving, attempting to pick it off was Sharice Wright. So the Eagles, we mentioned without Smallwood, he's on IR, without Darren Sproles today after the injury last week, so Barner seeing a lot of action early on.
Yeah, and Kenyon Barner is a good running back. Just get your hands the other way, in my opinion. You've got your hands, flip them the other way. Get your fingers at the top. Just a little bit of technique right there, make that catch easier. But I'm excited to see Ryan Matthews today, supposedly back healthy and ready to run hard.
Matthews had missed a couple of games, returned last week. Bonner remains in the backfield, 2nd and 10. Off the fake to Bonner. Wentz throws near side, incomplete. Intended for Jordan Matthews, right defending.
And that's why you get an opportunity to play running back in the NFL. Kenyon Barner, a great job in protection. You've got to be able to run with the football, catch the football, but you also have to be able to protect your quarterback. That was a play-action situation where he's got to take the play fake, and then he's got to stone Zachary Orr on a blitz. He gives up no ground.
3rd down and 10. 3 receivers set. Wentz in trouble, spinning away from Eric Weddle. And Wentz loses the football. The question is, was it recovered inbounds? Did not look like it was. So the Eagles will send out the punting unit.
And this is some of the experience that Carson Wentz has got to learn and carry over to next year. Know when the play is over. Respect and understand the athleticism of the guys on the field at the NFL level. Just throw that ball away, let your punter come out on the field and flip it. Very lucky that this was not recovered by the Ravens.
It was close. So the Eagles will punt. They have a new long snapper. There he is, number 45, Rick Lovano. And a new return man for the Ravens. They released Devin Hester, one of the all-time greats this week. So Michael Campanaro is back deep, and he calls for the fair catch at the 12-yard line. 6 minutes in, Ravens by 7.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Back in Baltimore, there's Marty Mornhinweg. Spent 10 seasons in Philadelphia on Andy Reid's staff. Took over for Mark Trestman as Ravens offensive coordinator in early October.
Yeah, and that's part of Andy Reid's style of offense, too. They were always a heavy pass offense, skewed just about that same percentage, 65-35 when he was in Philadelphia. So that's the style that Marty Mornhinweg plays with.
Ravens start from the 12. Play action. Flacco in trouble. Down he goes inside the 5-yard line. Brandon Graham along with Bo Allen.
And there's the experience that Joe Flacco has on that last play with Carson Wentz. We saw him running around, ball in one hand, held low. Watch Joe Flacco here. As he moves through the pocket, as he tries to climb, he gets 2 hands on that football. Okay, it's going to be a sack, but we don't want a sack fumble right here.
Half sack apiece for Graham and Allen. Loss of 7. Kenneth Dixon in the backfield. Second down and 17 for the Ravens. This is Dixon. And he is met by Leotis McKelvin. No gain on the play.
That's a nice little move by Kenneth Dixon on that play because Vinnie Curry comes free right away. Watch number 75 get into the backfield, unblocked right there. And Kenneth Dixon can't make him miss. They're going to be pinned right way back at the 2-yard line.
So now third down and 17. Ravens must get to the 22 for a first down as Flacco throws out of the end zone. And now the Ravens will punt it away.
And this is the balance that you have to strike as a defense. You know, your rush, your coverage, working together. Can you get there in time? And there it is again. You know, that's that transitional area for Mike Wallace as he's going, and that's right where that new side and the old side kind of converge, right at the bottom of the numbers. We'll keep our eyes on the player's footing in that area.
Sam Cook deep in his end zone. Remember, no Darren Sproles, one of the top punt returners in the league. So Barner is back deep for the Eagles.
It's a low kick.
Taken at the 36 by Barner, up the middle. Barner across midfield. Finally down at the Ravens 43. So the sack leads to the punt from the end zone, a 60-yard kick, and then a 22-yard return.
Today's game is sponsored by the new Bacon King sandwich, only at Burger King.
Very impressive. She's wearing hockey skates.
Kenny, I was shocked that you were not out on the rink at some point during the course of the weekend.
I'm very disappointed as well. Skating in Baltimore despite temperatures in the high 50s. As Carson Wentz and the Eagles go back to work, they start from a Ravens 43. Wentz with time, can't find anyone. Dives forward and is marked down at the 38-yard line, a gain of 5.
And it's that rush coverage balance right now. Now this is a compliment to the Baltimore Ravens on the back end. There's a good job in coverage. Kind of lose Jordan Matthews there a little bit, but Carson Wentz focused on the left side of the field. Now he's pulled that ball down and he's running as we see the receivers start to separate.
Second down and 5. The handoff to Matthews. Looks to turn it back inside. Matthews will pick up a first down. Good second effort to the Ravens 31.
And one of the things that Eric Weddle told us about was, as a teammate of Ryan Matthews out in San Diego, he warned his Raven defenders how physical he is. When you see him on the field, he's not that big in stature. But Eric Weddle told everybody he will drop their hammer on you. He's as physical a runner as I've played against.
Right, Weddle told us Matthews will run through guys. Hard to bring him down. Matthews 5 seasons in San Diego. Second year as an Eagle. New set of downs from the Ravens 31. It is Matthews again, and it's Weddle, his former teammate, the first Raven to make contact.
We always talk about blitzing against the quarterback in the passing game, but you have the run blitzes as well, and here you've got a stunt in the defensive line, and here comes Eric Weddle, number 32. He's a safety pressed up against the line of scrimmage, squeezing down.
They spent 5 seasons together in San Diego. A lot of respect for one another. Weddle, a 3-time Pro Bowl safety with the Chargers. Second down and 10. This is Jordan Matthews. And he takes it down to the 27-yard line. Gerard Powers forced him out.
You can see Jordan Matthews there with that ankle injury last week. You could tell it was impacting him, and you can see how much better he feels today. A lot of start-stop changing direction on that pass right there for a big guy. That ankle will definitely affect you if it's not feeling 100%.
The Eagles' leading receiver this season. Third down and 6. Eagles must get to the 21 for a first down as Wentz was wrapped up and then throws it away. On the pressure from Terrell Suggs, the 14-year vet.
How good is this guy? I mean, coming back from 2 career-threatening injuries and just continues to play at a high level every game. And, you know, it's great to hear coaches talk about not just the talent, but the work ethic. And defensive coordinator Dean Pease talked to us about how hard Terrell Suggs works every day at the practice field, in the weight room, helping everybody.
All right, 45-yard attempt. New long snapper, Rick Lovato. It's Caleb Sturgis from the left hash, and his kick is good, just inside the right upright. So a clean operation. Snap the hold, and then Sturgis connects from 45. Eagles on the board.
Game on Fox is sponsored by AT&T.
7-3 Ravens. There's the new long snapper, Rick Lovato. He was working at the family sandwich shop in New Jersey when he got the call. Eagles forced to use 3 long snappers in the game last week. How about John Dornbos, the magician? He ties Harold Carmichael's franchise record last week, 162 consecutive games, and now he's out for the season. This is Chris Moore, decided to take it out, and he is upended at the 12 by Chris Maragos. Well, for the Ravens, Darryl, no place like home. They've won 4 in a row here in Baltimore, but they've lost 4 straight away from home.
And that's some of the things we talked about at the top. It's been a bumpy year for the Baltimore Ravens. They had a 4-game losing streak at one point. The Jets game, you're hoping that that's not something that come back and haunt you late in the season, but you can see that disparity right there between home and away. You've got to be able to get that result. You've got to be able to get out on the road as a good football team and steal a couple games.
And this is their final regular season home game. Terrence West to the 15. To Los Angeles, a game break. Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kenny. Ravens a spot up on the Titans in the AFC wildcard race. Chiefs already up 7-0 here, 3rd and goal. And Alex Smith says, hey, I'll do it myself with that 10-yard scramble. He's got his team up 14-0. Kenny, Darryl, and Laura.
All right, thanks, Carissa. How about that AFC West? Chiefs and Raiders, 10 wins apiece. Denver at 8-5. 2nd down and 6. Flacco, complete, Mike Wallace. Wallace spun around by Jalen Mills.
Joe Flacco talking to us about this new offense since Marty Mornhinweg took over, and I think a lot of us expect the deep ball to all of a sudden pop up as part of that weaponry, and I thought he made some great points. He's like, listen, we got to take a look at who we have at the wide receiver position, who's at our skill positions, and what do they do best. A lot of this kind of starts with Steve Smith, and we see Steve Smith as a big down the field threat, but he's also a great start-stop change of direction guy. So Joe Flacco really feels right now the strength of the receiving corps is the short pass and the run after.
On the end around, it's Michael Campanaro. And Campanaro, called up from the practice squad this week, takes it all the way to the Eagles' 39, a 39-yard pickup.
And when you're struggling to run the football, this is one of those areas that you can use. Here's Michael Campanaro right here. It's called the jet sweep. You're going to time it up. You have the defense out leveraged right away. That means your tight end can get down the field and block. So Nick Boyle was able to get all the way down the field onto a secondary person. And now you can see those return skills of Michael Campanaro in the open field.
That's the longest run of the season for the Ravens, 39 yards. And now Flacco goes deep. He is looking for Smith, incomplete.
I like the play call. I like being aggressive right after you have an explosive play. But let's credit Jalen Mills right here. This is one of the more difficult guys to cover in the NFL on the deep ball. Still at this stage of his career, Steve Smith, a threat down the field.
Over 1,000 career receptions, 13th all time.
And Joe Flacco not happy with the location of that ball. Did not give Steve Smith a chance to make a play on it.
2nd and 10. Terrence West. West to the Eagles 35, gain of 4, Jordan Hicks. on the tackle.
But when you watch the Ravens on film, I really think that their run game is underrated, underutilized. I think that Terrence West and Kenneth Dixon make a nice 1-2 combination in the running game. They're physical, they're explosive. I'd like to see him lean on it a little bit more as we get into that push towards the playoffs.
Well, Dixon missed the first 4 games with a knee injury. Now he's healthy. Ravens 28th in the league. A 39-yard Campanaro run will help the numbers. Bronco again looking for Smith as the rain starts to fall here in Baltimore.
Yeah, and you just got to be careful right there. See that zone coverage because you've got Jordan Hicks sitting right in the middle. Steve Smith's going to come up and come across, but he's going to have a linebacker waiting for him right there. That's a good adjustment by Nigel Bradham. He sees the in route and makes the adjustment in coverage.
So here is Justin Tucker, who is 9 for 9 from 50-plus this year, one shy of the NFL single-season record held by Blair Walsh of the Vikings. A 53-yard attempt. Tucker from 53, and it is straight through. Now tied with Blair Walsh for the NFL record, 10 50-plus field goals in one season.
What do you think, Kenny? Does he have a better leg or a better voice?
Is there anything he can't do?
I tell you what, that is impressive. And he doesn't do this very often, but that voice is unbelievable. You would think if I could sing like that, I would be singing all the time.
And if you can kick like that, you'd be kicking all the time.
And he got real lucky right there because our weather just changed, and that's why this time of year in certain locations around the country, when you get a forecast like we had here, you got to get out and you got to get your points done early because in the last 5 minutes, the temperature has dropped, the rain has started to fall, the wind has kicked up, and I'd say I've never seen a kicker go as aggressively at a field goal as Justin Tucker did on that last field goal.
And how about the Eagles deep men? They are at the 15-yard line. And now Bonner has backpedaled to the 12. Nobody even close to the end zone. Into the wind with a holder. And it will be taken at the 7 by Barner. Another good return out to the 32. Laura, how windy is it down there?
Oh my gosh, it completely changed. You guys weren't kidding. If that kick was 2 minutes later, it would not have come close. And that's what I was talking about with all players. And you guys, when we were talking to Harbaugh before the game, that's what everybody said. When this front came in, we were expecting temperatures to drop about 15 degrees. No big deal, that's mid-40s. But this wind has picked up, and it is funky in the stadium. It comes down off the water, it gets trapped in here, and it swirls, and really close to impossible to tell which way it's coming. So Tucker says it's a real hard thing, even with home field advantage, to know which way at which time he can go in and out of the wind.
All right, Laura, hope you don't get spun around. Keep your eyes on the field.
Keep that jacket tucked close to the side.
From the 32 on first down. Terrific penetration by Zachary Orr along with Terrell Suggs.
And it's just hard when you've had, so many changes in your offensive line and you're going up against one of the better defensive fronts in the NFL. The biggest group, when you talk about cohesion and getting reps together, has always been, and it always will be, the offensive line. And there's just been so much change in that starting 5 for the Philadelphia Eagles this season. It's been hard for them to build any chemistry.
Right. Brandon Brooks is back, the right guard, missed last week's game. New starter at right tackle. Wentz has trouble with the snap, and he falls on it. Jason Kelce, the center, is one of the constants. He started every game for the Eagles this season.
See the location of the snap. That's just Carson Wentz. We talk about receivers taking their eye off the ball a little too soon. Did he take his eyes off that snap a little bit too soon?
Appeared as if he was looking to his left. 3rd down and 13. Final minute, first quarter. Backpedaling, under pressure, can't find a receiver, and he throws it away. Following the pressure by C.J. Mosley, and now the Eagles will send out the punting unit.
Well, you've got that screen pass called again, but you've got free blitzers coming in, and Kenyon Barner can't get out, and receivers down the field are covered. But the good thing is Carson Wentz learned from it. Right here, there's nobody open, just throw it away. Exactly. Let your punt team come out. You got the wind at your back. Who knows where this ball's going this time?
Late
Pass
flag.
interference. Offense on the wide guy. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is 4th down.
Got to watch out for that wide guy,
Yeah.
Kenny.
Late flag was thrown. It was
Wide.
the wide guy, according to Craig Rolstad.
Wide guy is always shoving. Here's the wide guy.
So now Jones punting with the wind. End over end kick. A flag is thrown.
During the kick, holding. Return team, 24. It's a 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That's on Sharice Wright. So the Ravens offense back out onto the field, leading the Eagles 10-3.
With only 14 seconds left here in the first quarter, we're going to flip this here pretty quickly, and the Baltimore Ravens are going to have the wind at their back. I mean, Philadelphia really got no advantage to these types of conditions because they didn't kick up until just recently, so they never had the wind while they had the possessions except for that last one.
Ravens scored their touchdown with a short field following the interception. This is Dixon out to the 13, a gain of 3, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter here in Baltimore. Eagles have still not scored a first quarter touchdown on the road. They trail the Ravens by 7. First quarter numbers, only 24 total yards and 2 first downs for the Eagles. Ravens with the takeaway, which led to their touchdown.
Very fortunate that they only had the one for the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz put the ball on the ground a couple of times, was able to get it back.
2nd down and 7 for Joe Flacco and the Ravens. Flacco throws, and it's broken up. Nice play intended for Mike Wallace. Jalen Mills, the rookie out of LSU, getting a hand on it.
And this is a really good play because this is a double move. Watch the stutter go and then the comeback. So you're up, stutter, you're going to push it again, and now you're coming back out. That's really well played by Jalen Mills.
Now 3rd down and 7. Ravens 0 for 2 on 3rd down today. Flacco taken down, lost the football. Sacked for the 2nd time.
I think Vinny Curry got it down at the bottom.
Officials attempting to get to the bottom of the pile.
I thought Vinny Curry had it, but now it looks like he doesn't have it. Yep.
Eagles football. Fletcher Cox on the recovery.
Good pressure again by the Eagles twice down in this part of the field. If you're going to cut a linebacker, Nigel Bradham, you better make sure you get him to the ground. You're holding that ball. Joe Flacco is not expecting that, and he had 2 hands on the football. It's just a good hit by Nigel Bradham as Joe Flacco tries to climb the pocket.
So Bradham knocked it loose. Recovered by Fletcher Cox. 1st and goal for the Eagles from the Ravens 8. Ryan Matthews in the backfield.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 55. That penalty's half the distance to the goal. Still 1st down.
Terrell Suggs.
And you get a little flinch from Jason Peters right here, number 71. He's got to be able to sit in there on that one. They called it on Suggs. I thought it was going to be on Jason Peters.
First and goal from the Ravens 4. 3 tight ends of the game for Philadelphia. On first down, this is Matthews, and Matthews is in for an Eagles touchdown.
We pointed out the tight ends to the right side of the formation, Kenny. You've got 3 of them there. And you're just going to get everybody kind of moving. You're going to get everybody's feet moving. So you've got your 3 tight ends set out here. And now watch this offensive line run with the defense. Eventually the running lane is going to show. And there is Ryan Matthews able to cut back inside for the touchdown.
And Zachary Orr shaken up. Ravens linebacker came up with the interception earlier. So turnovers lead to the Ravens' first touchdown and the Eagles' first touchdown today.
And that's a big play by Nigel Bradham. We've seen this temperature shift. We've seen the wind kick up here. The Ravens are going to have the wind at their back here in the second quarter. And that's a great job by the defense, creating a great scoring opportunity for their offense on that short field. It'll be tough for Philadelphia Eagles to grind this one out.
And now it looks like the Eagles will go for 2. As they called Sturgis back to the sideline. Here comes Wentz.
And I'm not a fan of chasing the lead here with the 2-point chase here. You wonder if these conditions, is it so strong on that extra point attempt now that it's pushed back, that they're just so uncertain, the impact of that win?
That would be the equivalent of a 33-yard field goal into the wind. So that is most likely why Doug Peterson has decided to go for 2. Eagles are 3 for 4 this season on 2-point conversions.
Darrell Green Beckham down here. It's a big matchup challenge in the red zone.
They will run it in. It's Matthews over the top, and he is in for the 2-point conversion. So weather a factor. Eagles take a 1-point lead after Bradham knocked it away from Flacco. Recovered by Fletcher Cox. And then Ryan Matthews, the touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Citizen Echo Drive watches, powered by Light.
Weather, wind, certainly a factor. Eagles go for 2. And how about Ryan Matthews? You ever get that high as a Dallas Cowboy?
I never did. It looks like he was in the mosh pit at a Pearl Jam concert. He passed around up there. That's impressive, because that's a leap from pretty far out there. And boy, I tell you what, this wind. I mean, to force Doug Peterson to really consider not even taking that field goal or the PAT attempt, only from 33 yards. Wow, this is going to be an interesting game if this wind continues.
And it paid off as they were successful on the 2-point conversion. Rodney McLeod, the holder, with Sturgis on the kickoff, taken by Chris Moore. And Moore goes out to the 25-yard line as Joe Flacco and the Ravens head back out, trailing by 1. Both teams capitalizing on a takeaway by their defense. So Flacco and the Ravens back to work. Flacco grew up in New Jersey, just outside Philadelphia. We asked him if he was an Eagles fan as a youngster. He said, I rooted for players, not teams. He liked watching individual players around the league.
He'd be perfect for today's game with the fantasy.
Right.
Back then, most kids were team guys.
This is Terrence West. And West gains 8 out to the 33-yard line. Talked about the run-pass ratio. Not much change since Marty Morningweg replaced Mark Trestman here in Baltimore.
No, and also the deep ball. You know, I think a lot of people felt, it's something that was a big part of Joe Flacco's earlier career days, and where is that now? And, I think you look at some of the stats that are out there. Joe's throwing about the same number of deep balls down the field. The league is kind of throwing them a little bit more frequently, but Marty Morningway came in, he simplified things. I think Joe explained the fact of what they do at the wide receiver position better. Plays like this to Kyle Juszczyk.
So the fullback Juszczyk makes the catch, but he was met immediately by Jordan Hicks and loses 3 yards on the play.
Sometimes you call a play and you're in a man coverage situation and it's not the best play call. So Jordan Hicks recognizes it. That's just good recognition. And nobody was able to get outside and pin Jordan Hicks back. He was able to retrace his steps on that screen pass to Kyle Juszczyk.
Third down and 5. Ravens have not yet converted on third down today. 0 for 3. Ravens must get to the 35. Flacco pulls it in. Now throws. It's complete to Kamar Aiken for a Ravens first down out to the 44-yard line. Gain of 14 for Aiken, who has the Ravens touchdown.
Good quick decision by Joe Flacco here. Again, he starts to see protection breakdown. Brandon Graham coming around the corner. Steps up in the pocket. Finds Aiken down the field.
New set of downs for the Ravens. Early second quarter, they trail by 1. It is West setting up second down and 6 as we head to Los Angeles. Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, if Baltimore doesn't win the North, they'll have to battle Tennessee among other teams for a wild card spot. And right now, Derrick Henry, little 4-yard run, pulls the Titans within 7 of red-hot Kansas City. Kenny, Moose, Laura.
Thanks, Kurt. And good news for the Ravens. The Steelers, as we take a look at Henry's numbers, the Steelers trail the Bengals 17-3. West out to midfield. Pittsburgh came ahead of Baltimore. Steelers 8-5, Ravens 7-6, and they will face each other next weekend in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but Baltimore understands they have to win out to force that. You don't worry about anything outside of your control. We talked about at the top how the fact that Baltimore controls their own destiny. Regardless of what happens today, you still take that same approach. You want to win out. You want to be playing well going into the playoffs. We've seen a number of times over the last few years, not necessarily the number 1, number 2 seeds being the conference champions, but those teams that get hot in the month of December.
Third down and 4. Flacco complete to West for a Ravens first down. Terrence West to the Eagles 35-yard line as he picks up 16.
This is a play that we're seeing more and more of coming out of the backfield. Just a little swing route right here. You get the slant coming inside by Mike Wallace, and you outflank the defense with Terrence West out of the backfield.
West replaced by Dixon in the backfield. 7th play of the drive. From the 34, it is Dixon. And he's hit behind the line of scrimmage.
I think that it's just a matter of time before the Philadelphia Eagles front also becomes one of the more dominant defensive fronts in the NFL. This is their first year in Jim Schwartz's system. I think the personnel that they have in place fit really well into what he wants to do. And as soon as they start to understand the subtleties and the nuances of this defense, this front is going to be really, really hard to block.
Jim Schwartz is the coordinator, grew up here in Baltimore, worked for the Ravens back in the late 90s. As Flacco throws, and it deflects off the hands of Kenneth Dixon.
Just a little bit of a slip right here when Joe Flacco goes to set his feet. See as he goes to get on that back plant, that little slip right there.
Right on the Ravens logo at midfield. Flacco losing his footing. Third down and 12. Ravens must get to the 24 for a first down. Flacco underneath to Juszczyk. And he's tackled at the 28, so the Ravens will send out the field goal unit.
I really like Kyle Juszczyk. Obviously I got a soft spot for fullbacks, and this is the type of fullback that can kind of bring that position back into the spotlight. He's not just a lead blocker, he's also a receiver out of the backfield. We saw a real nice catch and run against New England on Monday night. So not just a one-dimensional player at the fullback spot.
And he really enjoyed meeting and speaking with you on Friday at the Ravens facility. Here's Tucker. 47-yard attempt. Hit from 53 earlier. He's missed only once all season. That was Monday night. Had a field goal attempt blocked in Foxborough. He is 2 for 2 today. So Tucker has hit from 53 and 47. Ravens back on top. So you have a Raven and an Eagle sitting together.
Well, we talked to some people coming in because the weather was going to change so much, and you asked them, hey, do you got the right clothes for when it gets cold here later today? That was the perfect outfit to support your team and to stay warm.
Ravens lead by 2. Some rain, elements here in Baltimore.
Sponsored by the $10 any pizza carryout deal, only at Pizza Hut.
They're hanging in there despite the elements. The rain, wind here in Baltimore. Temperatures in the 50s. And started this game. Linebacker Zachary Orr has returned for the Ravens, received treatment for a left shoulder stinger. 3 tight ends set for the Eagles. First and 10 from the 25-yard line, all 3 tight ends to the right. As Wentz hands it off to Ryan Matthews, running right. And Matthews is out to the 33-yard line, a gain of 8. Brandon Williams, the tackle.
And you're going to have to be able to do that going this direction for the Philadelphia Eagles on offense. Going to be tough to be able to throw that football with the wind blowing as hard as it is. So good first down play right there by Ryan Matthews.
Matthews has the Eagles touchdown and the 2-point conversion. Matthews to the sidelines. Barner checks in. Second down and 2. 3 wide receivers for Philadelphia. As Wentz hands it off, this is Barner. And Barner will pick up an Eagles first down out across the 35. Philadelphia 5-8, started the season 3-0. You talked about the close games. Eagles 0-5 in games decided by 7 points or less.
And that's the style that Baltimore likes to play. You know, under Jim Harbaugh, or John Harbaugh, only one other team, the Redskins, have had more close games like this during his tenure. And they're 5-3 this season, so they're very used to it. They have confidence in those types of games.
Eagles keep it on the ground with Matthews, and he gets out to the 45-yard line. Albert McClellan finally brought him down. 10 more yards for Ryan Matthews.
Again, we talked about the challenge with the offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles, how challenge from an injury standpoint, all the different moving pieces inside and out of the lineups, and to be able to block the way they have to start this drive is very impressive.
You have a new right tackle in Sayamalo. Wisniewski starting his 4th straight game at left guard. Brooks making his return after missing the game last week. Again, 3 tight ends to the right. This time, not much. Out to the 47-yard line, gain of 2. Second down and 8.
There's your 3 tight ends right there to the one side of the formation. And the Ravens know exactly what's coming, so that's why this is impressive by Philadelphia's offensive line.
Eagles quickly back to the line. That pass was tipped. Wentz was looking for Barner. Third down and 8.
And we talked to Carson Wentz about playing in conditions outside, and he said, you know, I got spoiled up in North Dakota State with that dome. You know, I haven't had a lot of games outside in the elements, so we'll see how he handles the conditions here this afternoon.
Eagles just 1 for 5 on third down as the fans rise. Eagles must get to the Ravens 45. Wentz on third down. Barner was just to his left. He gets it to him, and Barner picks up a first down. Kenyon Barner shaken up, and the Eagles already losing a couple of running backs last week in Smallwood and Sproles. So Barner gained 10, picked up first down, but he's tended to by the medical staff. There's Kenyon Barner, the injured Eagles running back.
Yeah, it's been tough to be an Eagles running back here lately. You're going to see the leg kind of gets trapped. He grabs right away towards the hamstring area, so hopefully nothing with the knee or ankle. But Smallwood goes on to IR. Sproles inactive today. So down to just Ryan Matthews and Byron Marshall right now.
Ryan Marshall brought up from the practice squad this week. Has never played in an NFL game. First and 10 from the 43. This is Matthews. And Matthews gains 5 down to the Ravens' 38-yard line. Elvis Dumerville the tackle.
And the way these conditions are, half the game you're going to really lean on your running game. That other half, when you get the wind at your back, you'll have the opportunity to throw the ball. But with Philadelphia down to just 2 running backs, as Kenyon Barner gets worked on the sideline.
Here's head coach Doug Peterson. His Eagles trail by 2. Second down and 5. This is Matthews. Matthews stopped about a yard shy of the marker at the Ravens 34.
This has been their most successful running play. It's kind of just that outside zone. Getting to the outside, you're having your linemen combination block, have them climb, get that defensive front for the Ravens running, and then let Ryan Matthews pick his running lane.
8 plays on this drive, 6 runs. We're down and 1. Wentz throws, and Aguilar unable to make the catch on third down. Eagles have done such an effective job running the football on this drive. They attempt to pass, and Aguilar unable to make the catch.
Not only an attempt to pass, but a long pass that wasn't going down the field. I mean, throwing it all the way out to the edge on the perimeter, and they've left their offense on the field here on fourth down.
And the Eagles this season, Darryl, most fourth down attempts in the league, most fourth down conversions. Wentz on fourth down. It's complete for a first down to the tight end, Zach Ertz. That's his first reception today, 58th on the season, as Doug Peterson goes for it on fourth down, and Ertz gains 11.
Yeah, and they got up to the line of scrimmage very quickly. They had the Baltimore Ravens not lined up correctly, and they get Zach Ertz out into the flat.
They throw on third down, again on fourth, and it pays off. And now Byron Marshall on the field for the first time. The rookie running back out of Oregon. Number 39, he takes the handoff from Wentz and gains 3 down to the 20-yard line. We mentioned Wendell Smallwood placed on injured reserve, and Darren Sproles not active today. This is what took place last week in the game against Washington.
Yeah, just a terrible hit right there, and just we talk about player safety. We talk about trying to get that type of play removed from the game, and that's the reason why right there. And I still believe if a player delivers that type of hit, that he should stay out of the lineup just as long as the player that he delivered the hit to.
DeShazer Everett of the Redskins received a heavy fine this week from the National Football League as Marshall lost his footing, and there is a late flag as well. It's against the Eagles.
Holding. Offense, number 62. It's a 10-yard penalty, replay. Second down.
That's on the center, Jason Kelce.
Yeah, you just got to be perfect in the run game, and you got a holding penalty, and you get a little bit of a stumble right there by Byron Marshall. So they had established a really nice rhythm on this drive with the run game, and see if they can overcome that last play here.
Matthews back in, replacing Marshall. That was the first Philadelphia penalty. Second down and 17. 3 wide receivers set. Wentz hands it off to Matthews, and Matthews is inside the 20, and then the ball comes loose, and it's knocked out of bounds. Sharice Wright was looking the away. And an alert play by Ertz to knock it out of bounds.
Watch this play call. Terrell Suggs coming on the blitz. They're going to run it right inside of him. Good play by Jason Peters, kind of baits him up the field and then is able to get downfield to get just a devastating block on the outside.
C.J. Mosley knocking the ball away from Ryan Matthews. Matthews gained 13 yards on the play. It is now 3rd down and 4. And it's Matthews again. And Matthews will pick up an Eagles first down.
What an impressive job by this Eagles offensive line on this drive. You're really basically one-dimensional because of the elements that are out there. And this is the best run defense in the NFL that they're moving the ball down the field against.
Right, the Ravens allow only 76 yards per game on the ground. The Eagles have gone 13 plays, 64 yards. First and 10 from the Ravens 11. Ravens want a timeout.
First charge timeout, Baltimore.
Down the field to call timeout because his defense only had 10 men on the field. First and 10 from the 11-yard line. Marshall taken down back at the 15. A loss of 4 on the play, on the penetration by Albert McClellan. As we have hit the 2-minute warning in Baltimore. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Just under 2 minutes remaining. Second quarter in Baltimore. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Laura Oakman. Marshall shifts into the backfield. Second down and 14. Wentz complete to Marshall. He spins and is tackled. Suggs, first Raven. Loss of a yard. And now the Ravens will use their second timeout. Stop the clock with 1:47 remaining. What's coming up at halftime, Kurt?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Chiefs put on a show against the Titans in Kansas City. The Colts and Vikings look to keep their playoff hopes alive. And the Steelers try to win their 5th in a row against the Bengals. Get your popcorn ready. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime.
Kirk can count on me, buddy. I'm already there.
But where are the Raisinets?
Milk duds. Milk duds.
Kamar Aiken with the early Ravens touchdown after Zachary Orr pick. And then Flacco's fumble led to the Ryan Matthews score. Justin Tucker, couple of long field goals. 16th play of the drive, longest drive for the Eagles this season. On 3rd down and 15, as Wentz was wrapped up at the 20. Got rid of the football. Lawrence Guy with the pressure, and the Eagles will send out the field goal unit.
And one of the things that Carson Wentz has to learn is when the play is over. You've just had a fantastic drive. Your offensive line has done a great job. You put yourself in a position for a field goal attempt here. Don't do anything foolish to have a turnover.
So it's a 34-yard attempt. Sturgis. Eagles control the ball for 7.5 minutes. From the right hash. Kick is good. Despite the wind. Eagles back on top in Baltimore.
Tomorrow we discuss today's NFL action.
And the return of Tony Romo as Cowboy starter.
That's not funny. Undisputed 9:30 Eastern FS1.
Eagles lead the Ravens by a point here in Baltimore. A 17-play, 59-yard drive took more than half the quarter.
And you got to credit that Eagles offensive line. I mean, Baltimore knows exactly what they're going to try to do because of the conditions. They executed extremely well.
Chris Moore is back deep for the Ravens, waiting at the 10. Moore will take it at the 2. He's across the 25, still going, lost the football. And it looks like the Ravens, initially, Marquestin Huff, able to recover. Baltimore football.
Good job of hustling by Marquestin Huff. Trying to get downfield to help your buddy. Trey Burton punches it loose. But because you're hustling, because you're trying to help your teammate out, Marquestin Huff there for the recovery.
So again, the Ravens released Devin Hester earlier this week. They've tried Campanero more today. It was a big return by Moore, but then he had it knocked loose by Trey Burton. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line. Ravens with one timeout. Flacco incomplete, intended for Breshad Perriman.
Fundamentals will become even more important in these situations. And you've got a lot of players there. There's a lot of traffic. Breshad Perriman, he's good with the football in his hands after the catch, but you got to make that catch first.
Flacco on second down. And that's the tight end, Dennis Pitta. Ravens' leading receiver this season, his first catch today. Gain of 6. Third down and 4. As Flacco throws on the slant, and there is a flag. Jalen Mills on Breshad Perriman.
Yeah, you can have the hand on the back. You can.
Pass interference. Defense, number 31. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of the pull there. You got Jersey, you're tugging on him. Maybe even getting there a little bit early. You're going to have a tough time lobbying that one.
New set of downs for the Ravens. 1 minute remaining in the quarter. As Flacco goes deep, looking for Steve Smith, just out of his reach.
Well, I know we've got some wind to account for, but Joe Flacco on his back hip just kind of flicks this down the field, and Steve Smith has stayed down. Got 2 guys working on him. Runs right past Rodney McLeod. Almost a huge play down the field.
Smith landing on his left shoulder. Smith to the sidelines. 2nd and 10. Ravens charged with their final timeout. Down to 55 seconds. Flacco able to wheel in the snap. Now he throws. It's complete to Pitta. Dennis Pitta to the Eagles' 44.
Real calm in the pocket by Joe Flacco. Everything breaking down, just kind of climbs up a little bit, finds Dennis Pitta.
Ravens with no timeouts. Flacco to the outside. Remember, pace was an issue. Big subject here in Baltimore following the Patriots game on Monday.
Yeah, a 2-score game in that situation. Everybody wondering why there wasn't more of a sense of urgency. They've practiced this a lot, but we're seeing it here. They are up tempo, but watch Joe Flacco here. Number 1, just fielding the snap that was kind of off to the side, and everything's breaking down around him. He's got a lot of Eagle players closing in, and just kind of climbs up a little bit and finds Pitta.
2nd and 10. Complete to Juszczyk. Remember, the Ravens are out of timeouts. Clock continues to run. Eagles defense hustling back. As Flacco will spike it. 16 seconds remaining.
And with the wind at his back, who knows how far Justin Tucker would have been able to convert a field goal attempt on going this direction. So,
well, right now it would only be a 52-yarder if the Ravens did not pick up another yard.
Well inside his range.
Steve Smith has returned. Second down and 10. 16 seconds remaining. No timeouts. Three wide receivers set. Flacco, pump fake. And now he throws. He goes deep for Smith. He's got it. Touchdown.
What a heck of a throw by Joe Flacco. This is such a small window. And we talk about situational football, and sometimes people get caught up in third down, red zone. Sometimes it's just understanding what is going on in the game at this time. I mean, you can't let Steve Smith do this to you. You know, I don't know why you're turning him loose. It didn't look like Jalen Watkins was expecting safety help over the top. You need a little bit more at the line of scrimmage when you're going against Steve Smith.
Just moments after he landed on that left shoulder, was in pain, came off the field. 34 yards from Flacco to Smith. Tucker the extra point. Ravens back on top. Ravens lead the Eagles by 6. 9 seconds remaining in the half. How about Steve Smith? Leaves the game, landed on that left shoulder, comes back, makes a huge play.
You just have to be situationally aware in that time. It's 16 seconds left in the half. The one thing you can't do is allow Steve Smith to run by you. Now, it looked like you're going to get a little bit of safety help from Jalen Watkins over the top, but you didn't do anything to impact his release, so he got a clean release up the sideline. Now, that's the last thing you can have happen. Your offense just had a heck of a drive all the way down the field into the wind, had to run the ball down there, got you some points, and you give up a touchdown before half.
Tucker sends this one through the back of the end zone. So with 9 seconds remaining, Flacco to Smith. Ravens lead 20-14 following that 7.5-minute drive by the Eagles, which culminated with a field goal. Cincinnati leading Pittsburgh 20-9 at the half. Raven fans have their eyes on that one. Ravens will get the ball first following halftime. They deferred at the start of the game. Wentz will take a knee. So that will do it for the first half here in Baltimore. Ravens with an early touchdown and a late TD as we send you to the Visa halftime report with Kurt and the gang in Los Angeles. Guys, lead by 6. First half moments brought to you by Head & Shoulders. First and goal to the end zone. Touchdown, Kamar Aiken. Flacco taken down, lost the football. This is Matthews, and Matthews is in for an Eagles touchdown. Pump fake, and now he throws. He goes deep for Smith. He's got it. Touchdown. First half moments brought to you by Head & Shoulders from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. A look at the first half numbers.
I tell you, pretty even. The total yards, obviously, Baltimore, gaining more there. But when you break it down into the different segments, it's a pretty evenly played first half. Normally, we look at turnovers, and you look we had right up there the points off 8-7 in favor of Philadelphia, electing to go for the 2-point conversion on their touchdown.
Ravens defer to start the game. They will receive the second half kickoff. Wind still a factor.
Not as bad as it was in the second quarter at times. It really started to gust there. That Philadelphia Eagle drive was very impressive, basically being one-dimensional because of the elements out here. They were not going to be able to throw the ball very far down the field.
Moore will take a knee. So the Ravens will start with a 1st and 10 from their 25-yard line. Big touchdown at the end of the first half for Baltimore. Now they get the ball first.
And it just kind of stole all the momentum from the Philadelphia Eagles. And, you know, great job by Joe Flacco. That was a small window he threw that ball into. You know, I agree with the guys, you know, at halftime, you know, talking about the way that Steve Smith plays this game. He really is a fiery competitor. I think Michael Strahan put it really well. When he's on the other team, he's going to drive you crazy, but when he's on your team, boy, you love to have guys like that. They make those types of plays in those situations. Coming back from the shoulder, pops down the field, makes the big play. So we'll see how Philadelphia responds here to start the third quarter.
All right, here we go from the 25-yard line with West in the backfield. This is Terrence West, big hole, first down and more. West across midfield and finally taken down inside the Eagles' 35-yard line at the 34. 41 yards for West.
I think you can become much more balanced in your attack as a Raven offense. I think Terrence West and Kenneth Dixon together are very, very talented running backs. A great job by the guys up front. Again, now Baltimore is going in that direction. They're going in the direction where it's going to be challenging to throw the ball down the field. They started with an explosive run.
Longest run of the season. They had a 39-yard run earlier. Campanaro, that was the longest. And here is West as we head downstairs and check in with Laura Open. Laura.
I'm going to continue that update. I talked to John Harbaugh. He said the biggest thing with getting this offense into a rhythm is field position. We just saw how much he loved that play. But I asked him, how much is this wind affecting what you're doing? He said it's affecting absolutely everything. It's coming in from that southeast end zone, that corner, and he said that it's just impossible to predict once it comes in here. We don't know what it's doing down here. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Laura. Second down and 7. This is Dixon. And he will lose yardage. Benny Logan busting through to make the tackle.
Yeah, big bodies up front for the Eagles in this front. You know, Fletcher Cox and Benny Logan inside. That's why the job done by Baltimore's offensive line on that opening play. They kind of took that one right up into the heart of that Eagles defense.
Third down and 10 from the Eagles 34. And Flacco is taken down back at the 39-yard line. Fletcher Cox.
And that's what you expect to see from this front, and it's what it is. It's just doing it with the 4. You're not adding anybody. That means you've got 7 guys back in coverage. When you're down 4, can collapse the pocket in that way. It makes it a lot easier on the back end.
Third Eagles sack today. Team leading 6.5 on the season for Fletcher Cox. Aguilar back deep. Cook punting from midfield. And it will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Eagles football when we return, following the good defensive series.
By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Early third quarter in Baltimore. Eagles defense allowed the 41-yard run, but then a couple of negative plays, including the sack. They force a punt. And now the Eagles offense goes to work from the 20-yard line. On first down, hands it off out to the 24-yard line. It is Matthews. Back down to Laura.
I talked to Doug Peterson about that first interception Carson went through. He said after that he settled him down, got the run game going, and Carson's confidence and rhythm going with those short and intermediate passes we've been seeing. Look for that to continue because of this win, and also he said because of the great job the offensive line is doing. However, that thin backfield you all talked about earlier just got thinner. Game with a hamstring injury, Kenny.
All right, thanks, Laura. So they're down to Matthews and Marshall. Second down and 6. Wentz throws. It's the tight end Selleck. And grabbing onto his leg and bringing him down is Lardarius Webb.
And I know they want to stay in that short and medium range with their passing game, but going in this direction where the wind doesn't seem to have the impact it does when you switch, you might need to stretch and take advantage of your opportunities here in the third quarter.
Brent Celek in his 10th season got together on the field prior to the game with John Harbaugh, whose last season in Philadelphia was Celek's rookie year back in 2007. Third down and 1. Wentz swings it out. It's Matthews, and Ryan Matthews will pick up an Eagles first down out to the 34-yard line.
Boy, it is good. It looked like there was some pursuit there by the Ravens inside out, that this was going to make this challenging for Ryan Matthews to convert the first down. And again, watch him. He just makes his decision, gets north and south, and just slices through everybody.
Needed 1, gain 5. Matthews with a touchdown back in the second quarter. Placed by Marshall. Marshall. Wentz with loads of time, fires downfield, intended for Jordan Matthews, and it is Eric Weddle who comes up with the interception. There is a flag near midfield.
Carson Wentz wanted Zach Ertz. We'll see if the flag is on the coverage versus Zach Ertz. He was waiting for him on the shallower out route, and when Zach Ertz went to the ground.
Illegal contact. Defense number 54. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Zachary Orr.
Yeah, because Carson Wentz is kind of staring down Zach Ertz as the receiver, and he goes to the ground. He makes the adjustment to just take a deep shot down the field to Jordan Matthews. Here's Zach Ertz. Going to work up the field inside and then go out. It looks like Zach Ertz initiated the contact on Zachary Orr.
So it erases the interception by Weddle. First and 10 from the 39-yard line as Wentz hands it off to Marshall. Cuts to the outside. And a flag after the late hit. It is Orr again.
Well, I'm not going to give him the flag on the previous play for the illegal contact, but now you just got to keep your composure here.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense number 54. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Yeah, no reason for that one. Marshall already well out of bounds.
Yeah, you can pull off of that too. You're not committed to the point where you can't pull off of that.
So 2 consecutive penalties committed by Orr.
1 penalty. I'm not going to give him the first one, Kenny.
Eagles now in Ravens territory from the Baltimore 46. Three receiver set, Marshall in the backfield. On first down, it's Marshall. And Marshall gets wrapped up by Jerron Powers.
The ability to bring secondary players on blitzes because you're good tacklers. I mean, we've seen Eric Weddle up there, Sharice Wright. Now we've got Jerron Powers, number 26, is going to drop in this way. I mean, look at the contain. He's doing his job. He's not letting anything outside of him. Plays it really, really well.
Loss of 2 on the play, second down and 12. Throws on the slant. It's Aguilar. Aguilar is inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Aguilar gaining 9. Third down and 3 upcoming for the Eagles. On third and 3, will fire downfield, and it's too high. He was looking for Matthews.
Well, trying to do a double screen like the play design, so you've got a play fake inside Then you're going to fake it. So we're going to have the play fake here. Then you're going to fake the throw out to this way. You're really trying to get it to Ryan Matthews on the screen out the back door. I just crisscross those with the flow in the backfield. Covered very well by the Ravens, but again, there's an opportunity there. Just got to be careful with those throws down the field.
Going for it on 4th down once again. 4th down and 3. Wentz throws, and it's incomplete. Nearly picked off by Powers. The intended receiver, the tight end, Burton. So the Ravens will take over on downs with just over 8 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter in Baltimore. Ravens take over, leading by 6. Look at Joe Flacco's numbers. 2 touchdown passes. Terrence West, 80 yards on the ground. Steve Smith, only 1 catch, but it was a big one. 34-yard touchdown late in the 2nd quarter. From the 39, play action on 1st down. Flacco throws, and he hits West out of the backfield. Proud of the tackle. Short gain, 2 yards. And the center, Jeremy Zuttah, remains down. Ravens already without their left guard, Alex Lewis, who's missed 5 games. Medical staff tending to Zuttah.
Sponsored by Verizon. It's always a great gift on Verizon.
Back in Baltimore, John Urschel in at center for the injured Jeremy Zuttah.
Good news for Jeremy Zuttah. Watch 53 right here. Watch him get that leg out. He feels the pile start to shift on him, and he gets that leg out of there. So hopefully he'll be able to return.
On 2nd down and 8, this is West. Nowhere to go. On the penetration by Vinny Curry.
Vinny Curry's having an afternoon today. Signed the big offseason contract, and people wait for that production to come up and match it, and hasn't really been there yet, but he's had a heck of an afternoon today. Coming off the outside that time, playing the defensive end position.
Third down and 12 after the outstanding play made by Curry. Flacco throws it into the ground in the vicinity of Juszczyk. Brandon Graham with the pressure this time, so Ravens will punt it right back to the Eagles.
Well, that's good recognition by Brandon Graham. You know, you're the defensive end, you're a pass rusher, but you sense the offensive lineman leaving, you sense that screenplay. You just kind of drift out. You get right into the throwing lane to where Kyle Juszczyk was.
Aguilar back deep. Cook waiting at his 23-yard line. Aguilar will let it bounce. Takes a Ravens roll. And will stop at the 11-yard line. Just under 7 minutes to play, 3rd quarter.
Is sponsored by Samsung Pay. Turn your phone into your wallet.
I'm not that cold yet, Kenny. I'm not that cold yet.
Do not try that at home. Eagles go back to work. Trailing the Ravens by 6. From their 12-yard line. Wentz handing it off to Ryan Matthews. And Matthews dragged down by Terrell Suggs. No gain on the play.
And we hear about him as a pass rusher, but also a very good run defender at the end. Tough to get outside. Good leverage working against Jason Peters. Able to shed that block, get to the outside to make the tackle.
How about that matchup? Suggs, 14 years in the league, 6 Pro Bowls. Peters, 13 seasons, 8 Pro Bowls. Second and 10. Eagles empty the backfield. Wentz over the top to Ertz. It's Mosley who makes the tackle after a gain of 7. 3rd down and 3 for Philadelphia.
This is a big third down right here for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're down to 5:45 in the third quarter. When they get into the fourth quarter, they're going to be going into that wind. If it has an impact, it seems to be impacting the direction the Ravens are going right now, so they don't have many more possessions with the wind at their back.
They're down at 3. This is Marshall, and he will pick up a first down and more. All the way out to the 31. Byron Marshall playing in his first NFL game. On 3rd and 3, he gains 12.
Reading about Byron Marshall this week, Frank Reich was one of the guys that talked about him a lot. You know, on the scout team, kind of popping from time to time, seeing the play. Hey, who was that? It was that Byron Marshall guy again. So you're getting to see a little bit of that explosiveness that Frank Reich was talking about.
Frank Reich, the offensive coordinator, University of Maryland. Fans in the area remember his huge comeback against Miami back in '84, biggest in college football history at the time. And there's some more of what he has liked about his rookie running back, Byron Marshall.
He's got some good feet. He's got another tackler right in the hole, ready to make the stop, and he's got that little jump cut, able to get to the outside. It's Frank right there.
Very highly regarded, considered for some head coaching roles, and I'm sure will be in the future as well.
I think one of the things that Carson Wentz really, talks about, being fortunate to be in the position to have a head coach like Doug Peterson, offensive coordinator like Frank Reich. There's a lot of pieces in place for him to have a very successful professional career.
Right, they both played the position, both Peterson and Reich. From the 41, off the fake to Marshall. Wentz throws it, it's complete to the tight end, Ertz. In Ravens territory, Zach Ertz to the Baltimore 35, a 24-yard pass play.
Nice play action to hold everybody. Zach Ertz coming from your tight end spot. It's going to be a tiered route. Going to the middle of the field, breaking out. Good design right there.
Last 3 plays, 12 yards, 10, and now 24. That catch by Ertz. Biggest play of the day for the Eagles offense. This is Marshall. To the 31. He picks up 4 as we head to Los Angeles. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. We head to Houston. After benching Brock Osweiler, Tom Savage under center for the Texans, but it's Marquise Lee with a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. The Jags currently in the midst of an 8-game losing streak. The AFC South very wide open. Jags lead 28. Kenny?
Wow. So Houston coming into the day tied atop the division with Tennessee. They bench their quarterback, Brock Osweiler. Titans trailing in their game as well in Kansas City. Matthews to the Ravens 28.
I think I'd be a little bit reluctant to take a quarterback that John Elway was willing to deal.
Right.
There had to be something there that John Elway noticed.
Osweiler, of course, had success starting for the injured Peyton Manning last year. Manning comes back, they win the Super Bowl. Osweiler to Houston. Trail the Jaguars today.
Another big third down here for the Eagles.
Third down and 3.
Zach Ertz.
They get it into the hands of Bryce Treggs, and he picks up a first down.
Of course, who do you go to on a critical third down? You got to go to Bryce Treggs. Again, that jet sweep, watch it come, and now Zach Ertz becomes the blocker on Terrell Suggs right there. And there's some more good footwork right there by Bryce Treggs, getting that cut back up inside, fighting for the yardage necessary for the first down.
So Treggs, the rookie out of Cal, that's his second carry of the season. He picks up a first down. 9th play of the drive for the Eagles from the Ravens 24. This is Matthews, and Ryan Matthews picks up another first down to the Ravens 12. You mentioned earlier, Baltimore, the #1 defense against the run, but the Eagles have had great success on this drive running the football.
And a lot of different things. Watch Jason Kelce, your center right here. This is hard to do, to pull as a center, but to pull that quickly and be able to get up and get the critical block at the point of attack.
Eagles over 100 yards on the ground. Ravens allow only 76 per game. First and 10 from the Ravens 12. It's Matthews again. And Matthews takes it down to the 8-yard line. Michael Pierce on the stop.
Well, they've gotten out of sync from time to time this season in their run-pass ratio. Now, sometimes it's dictated. The Cincinnati game, it kind of gets away from you a little bit. But there's been other times when it seems like they've abandoned the run. Doug Peterson, Frank Reich have talked about, hey, the best thing we can do for Carson Wentz is to stay more balanced. He wants to get around 30 carries a game. Really committed to that this afternoon, doing a good job with it.
Time winding down. And the third quarter comes to an end in Baltimore with Carson Wentz and the Eagles looking to regain the lead. No scoring in the third quarter. Eagles had the ball for the last 6.5 minutes. They trail the Ravens by 6. Philadelphia leading the league in time of possession coming into the game. And they have had the ball today, Darryl, for 10 more minutes than the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, how impressive has this Philadelphia offensive line been, and this running game going against the #1 run defense in the NFL. We talked about the injuries at the running back position, so they're short there. I think a lot of people looked at that matchup, thought we'd see Carson Wentz throw the ball over today. The elements force him into the run game, and they've had a really nice afternoon running the football.
Second down and 7 as Wentz looks to throw, and he throws it into the ground. 3rd and 7 upcoming.
Even when he throws it into the ground, you get a little nervous. He throws it right into everything.
Dean Pease, Ravens defensive coordinator.
A couple of big conversions on 3rd down on this drive already. See if they got one more left.
Eagles 6 for 13 today on 3rd down. 3rd down and 7. They can pick up a first down without reaching the end zone. Wentz looking, he throws, and it deflects away from Trey Burton.
One of the guys that Carson Wentz has kind of developed a rapport with, number 47 out here, one of your tight ends. Zach Ertz pushing up. Good coverage by C.J. Mosley on that play.
So here is Caleb Sturgis out to attempt a 27-yard field goal. Sturgis 2 for 2 today from the left hash. Sturgis remains perfect, and the Eagles pull to within 3. Early 4th quarter in Baltimore.
Is sponsored by the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. This is the next level.
Philadelphia Eagles rookies join students from Stepping Stone Scholars to decorate holiday cookies as a part of the team's Cookies with Rookies program.
Very successful cookie making right there, because the frosting to cookie ratio is very high. Lots of frosting.
There's Chris Moore on the return. I like that. Cookies with Rookies program. Hopefully all of the kids enjoyed meeting those Eagle rookies. Eagles go 13 plays, 79 yards. Pull to within 3. Ravens looking for win number 8. Steelers at 8-5 now trail the Bengals by 5, 20-15. Late 3rd quarter off the fake to Dixon. Pass was intended for Campanaro. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
Nice call defensively by Jim Schwartz in this situation. You're going to see, I think it's Jalen Watkins coming in on the blitz. Number 26 kind of forces that ball out early.
Jim Schwartz gave us a Baltimore Colts history lesson yesterday.
How about that? That was fantastic.
Grew up here, said he cried when the Colts left for Indianapolis. Used to listen to the games on the radio as a youngster. Here's Dixon. Kenneth Dixon out to the 34-yard line. Vinnie Curry, the tackle.
But see, I was on the other side of that. Well, he was enjoying the fact that Burt Jones and Roger Carr were tearing up the NFL. I was a Dolphins fan.
Right.
So they were usually knocking my team off when I was little.
Well, he told us about a Tony Linhart field goal to beat the Dolphins. One of his biggest Colts memories. Former head coach in Detroit. Was on the Ravens staff back in 1996 through 98. He was a linebacker at Georgetown. About 40 miles down the road. Third down and 7. As Flacco throws. And it looks like Smith has enough to pick up a Ravens first down. And now some extracurricular activity.
Philadelphia bringing the pressure on this play right here. Got a little bit of a tip at the line of scrimmage, not enough.
So Smith picks up the first.
Again, Ron Brooks out as your nickel guy, and all of a sudden you've got Malcolm Jenkins covering Steve Smith in a critical situation. Tough matchup.
Here's Dixon. Kenneth Dixon, there is a flag. As Dixon is finally tackled by Jalen Mills at the Eagles 41, a 19-yard run by Dixon. But we'll check with the referee, Craig Rolstad.
Holding offense, number 62. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
That's on the right guard, Vlad Dukas.
Climbing to that second level, getting downfield right there. You get the grab and pull. How about both of these teams, how effectively they have run the football this afternoon? I mean, this is the Ravens team that has struggled to find that run-pass ratio as well.
The Eagles have more rushing yards than passing yards, and the Ravens are pretty close. First down and 8 following the penalty. Flacco near side, Terrence West. Nice change of direction. And West has a Baltimore first down.
Nice move back inside by Terrence West to extend this, get a couple more yards. Seems like one of the things we're seeing a lot in the NFL now, you know, the matchup trying to create in the passing game with running backs. We've got a couple of running backs around the league that pose very, very difficult matchup problems on the outside. But here this afternoon it's been the running backs out of the backfield making some big plays.
Nolan Carroll is the injured Eagle, their right corner. Carroll heads off the field. Left side of the screen, tiled up with Steve Smith. Flacco on first down. It's complete to the tight end, Darren Waller. That's his first catch today, and he forces his way forward for another Ravens first down. 9th catch of the year, gain of 11 to Los Angeles. Kurt.
Well, as Ravens fans keep an eye on the Steelers are mounting a comeback against Cincy. Once down 17-3, it's now a 5-point game, and Lawrence Timmons just picked off Andy Dalton, so Pittsburgh can try and take the lead for the first time today. Kenny Mussolari.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Ravens beat the Steelers here back in early November. They will get together in the Steel City next Sunday. This is Dixon. And there is a flag at the end of the play.
Well, I had a good first half. There was only 4 penalties in the first half. I had two of the 3 most penalized teams in the NFL this season out here today. They had a nice clean first half. It was getting a little sloppy here in the second.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense, number 96. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
96 is Benny Logan. Ripped the face mask off the Ravens left guard, Marshall Yonda. So that will cost the Eagles 15 yards. Ball spotted at the Philadelphia 16. Bunch formation to the right, Dixon in the backfield. On the toss, it's Dixon. Has running room. He's inside the 10, the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown!
Got to have contain. You play with your eyes, but you also have to know what your job is. It's a good play fake by Joe Flacco. Now what that's going to do is it's going to get Brandon Graham, and you're going to have a nice block down here by Mike Wallace. So right away you've got Kenneth Dixon on the edge. The only one who has a chance is actually Rodney McLeod coming in from the middle of the field.
First career rushing touchdown for Dixon, has a touchdown reception. Rookie out of Louisiana Tech. Tucker adds the extra point. Dixon congratulated along the sidelines. Ravens lead by 10. A look at the AFC North standings down the Inner Harbor here in Baltimore. Steelers 8 wins, Ravens have 7. Ravens up by 10 today, Steelers trailing by 5. First career rushing touchdown for Dixon. He had 72 at Louisiana Tech, 87 total touchdowns. Second in NCAA history. Only Keenan Reynolds of the Naval Academy had 4, and he's now a member of the Ravens practice squad. So Reynolds and Dixon 1-2 all time. Dixon into the end zone today to give the Ravens a 10-point lead.
Today's game is sponsored by the new film Sing, in theaters this Wednesday.
Snow and ice yesterday in Baltimore. Rain on and off throughout the day today. Heavy winds at times.
Yes, the wind is the big one, and that's the one that really concerns coaches. The guys, you can fight through the wet, you can fight through the snow. The wind really is the one element that impacts the game the most severely.
Wentz and the Eagles back to work from the 25-yard line. And they keep it on the ground on first down. Gain of 3 for Matthews. So we've talked about the elements all day long here. You know what's going on in other parts of the country. And as we head towards the postseason, we've worked some playoff games in the snow in Green Bay and in some other elements. What do you look forward to?
I think the big thing is that's why home field is so important. And we've got 2 completely different scenarios, AFC, NFC. In the AFC, the New England Patriots, they want home field because they want you outside. They want you in the elements. They're used to playing there. The Dallas Cowboys, they want you down in their stadium inside to take advantage of the perfect conditions there. So kind of an interesting approach. 2 different ways, getting in and getting that home field established.
Second down and 7. Green Beckham picks up a first down, his first catch today. Gain of 11. Talk about Foxborough and the elements. Ravens under John Harbaugh have won 2 postseason games in Foxborough.
And don't underestimate how much that confident is. Even though they had a tough game up there last Monday night, if that happens again in the playoffs, they've got experience that they can draw on.
Matthews first down and more into Ravens territory to the Baltimore 42. Matthews gains 19.
But if the Ravens are going to get to Gillette Stadium up there, they're going to have to start playing a little bit better defense because they've got a 10-point lead. This is the #1 run defense in the NFL, and this Philadelphia offensive line, this Philadelphia running game has just continually had big plays throughout the afternoon.
That's the biggest run of the day for the Eagles. The Eagles now with 136 yards on the ground. Nearly double what the Ravens allow per game. Off the fake to Marshall. Wentz complete to Burton. But he is met immediately by Tavon Young, the rookie out of Temple University.
Tavon Young is able to pass his responsibility to the safety. They've got that coverage, and then he can roll back up onto the flat. So Carson Wentz has got to read this coverage. He's got to understand that Tavon Young is coming back up in that roll coverage.
Gain of just 1. Second down and 9. Empty backfield. Marshall slot to the right. As Wentz goes deep. Too far for Burton with Powers defending.
And right now, Doug Peterson has to account for 39 here, making sure that you understand, everybody understands whether it's 4-down territory or not. Everybody's got to be on the same page right here, because remember that win, it's a 2-possession game, so you've got the opportunity to kick a field goal if you don't convert, but you know, what is your distance right now? I watched Justin Tucker coming out the second half. He was iffy at about 49 to 50 yards, so they definitely need some more for Caleb Sturgis.
From the 41, third down and 9. Wentz dumps it off. This is Marshall. And Marshall will be stopped about 1.5 yards short. So the Eagles now facing a 4th down once again.
Real good decisive run though by Byron Marshall right there. You catch it, you can see all the Raven players converging on him, and just go to that 1st down yard marker as hard as you can.
Eagles send in an extra blocker, number 69, Dylan Gordon, rookie out of LSU. Fourth and 1. Close. We'll see. Reynolds down. Aguilar on the end around. It will depend on the spot.
And this is the 3rd time we've seen the jet sweep today.
He was stopped short.
It's one of those plays you can see it coming because of the motion by Aguilar. So let's watch his feet as he tries to drive for the 1st down.
Does he step out? Right there. Stepped out of bounds. Shy of a 1st down. Ravens take over. There's Nelson Aguilar, who was unable to pick up the 1st down for the Eagles. Stepped out of bounds. Ravens take over at their 33-yard line with under 8 minutes to play, leading by 10. Pittsburgh has cut the Cincinnati lead to 2. It is now 20-18 Bengals as West gains a couple out to the 35.
Let's go back and take a look at this 4th down play again. Aguilar is going to come from here, but I want you to keep an eye on these 2 defenders right here. Watch how they play this. Nelson Aguilar's got to cut up inside right now. Zach Ertz, he's showing him this way. Look, here comes Kelsey and Peters as your blockers. As soon as he runs that bubble, Sharice Wright is going to be there to make a stop. So he had to recognize the blocking position of Zach Ertz and get back up inside there.
2nd down and 8. Flacco throws, and it bounces away from Smith.
That's doubly bad because the incomplete pass stops the clock. Time, the most important commodity in a 2-possession game right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. So Ravens helping him out there.
Eagles not officially eliminated, but they would need to win all of their games and have a lot of other things take place. Ravens control their own destiny. 3rd down and 8. Ravens must get to the 43-yard line. And they do. Mike Wallace inside the 30, the 20, still going, finally forced out of bounds. His 2nd catch today, and he gains 54 yards.
Now you're working against one of the faster guys in the NFL. He's in the back of the stack right there, number 17. Pushes to the outside. Leotis McKelvin thinks he can undercut it. What a great throw by Joe Flacco again, and it wasn't even off of a great platform. You know, he's kind of standing flat-footed, and his arm is so strong, it's just a flick, but he hits Mike Wallace in stride as Leotis McKelvin tries to undercut it.
Leads the NFL in 50-yard receptions this season, and now with the play clock winding
First
down.
charge timeout, Baltimore.
Ravens use a timeout. They're first. Well, the third annual Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award honors NFL players who exemplify outstanding sportsmanship on the field. Each NFL team nominates one player. Earlier this week, a panel of legends selected 8 finalists from the 32 nominees, including Darren Sproles of the Eagles, Marshall Yonda of the Ravens.
How good a group is that final 8 right there? We've had the opportunity to talk to every single one of them at some point during our careers as broadcasters, and that is an outstanding group of final 8.
Absolutely, and the winner will be decided by a vote of current NFL players, announced at the NFL Honors Award Show February 4th on Fox, and Flacco's pass is picked off after the big reception by Wallace. It is Jordan Hicks. Flacco makes the tackle. Third pick of the season for Hicks, and he takes it all the way out to the 41-yard line.
What an aggressive play call in this situation. 10-point lead, about ready to close the door on the Eagles. You elect to throw it. Let's keep our eyes on Jordan Hicks right here in the middle. Dropping back, reading the eyes of the quarterback. Look at him slide right in lane. Still don't know where Joe Flacco was going with that throw, because the receiver behind was covered very well also. Here's what you got to love about your quarterback, right? You make a mistake, and don't wait for everybody else to come down and make the tackle.
Well, Flacco picked off, giving the Eagles another opportunity with 6:12 on the clock. They trail by 10. From the 40, Wentz handing it off. And Matthews will pick up a first down across midfield, gain of 11.
It's how consistent they have been with 8 to 10-yard runs during the course of the afternoon.
Matthews averaging 6 yards per carry. He goes over 100 yards for the second time this season. From the Ravens 49 on the delay, it's Matthews again. And another 10-plus run as Matthews is tackled at the 30. He gains 19 more.
Well, Eric Weddle told us how physical he is, but the thing that I like about him is his patience. He's such a patient runner. And a lot of times you see the younger running backs, they press that hole, they get the ball in their hands, and they want to go top speed as quickly as possible. Ryan Matthews got a great feel, great patience to the line of scrimmage.
49 yards on his last 3 carries. From the Ravens 31, Wentz to Jordan Matthews. And he gets forced out of bounds by Powers. Watch stops with 5:03 remaining. '15th career 100-yard game, 128 for Matthews. Wentz on second down over the middle. It's Jordan Matthews once again to the Baltimore 23.
It just opens up everything. You know, they've got the opportunity for play action. You've got to respect the running game of the Philadelphia Eagles this afternoon.
Only the 4th time the Ravens have allowed at least 100 yards on the ground. It's a season high against the Ravens. 166 rushing yards. This is Ertz, who picks up an Eagles first down inside the red zone.
I stay with it right here. The way the drive started was the run game, and now you've kind of shifted now into the passing game, this part of the field. I'd continue to hammer the run at him. In a 2-possession game, you want to get that first score with about 2:10 left on the clock. They're at 3:50 right now.
This is Marshall, although they certainly would not mind getting it earlier.
No, absolutely not.
We'll leave some more time. Eagles quickly back to the line. 3.5 to play. Second down and 7. Wentz throws. It's Ertz. And Ertz is down at the Ravens' 7-yard line. He picks up another Eagles first down.
Good job by Zach Ertz. He gets it back inside, gets a few more yards. And it's a fine line right now trying to push these plays. Remember, time is your most important commodity. Sometimes better to just get down the lineup for the next play.
From the 7, first and goal. Wentz throws, incomplete. No flags. Ertz, the intended receiver.
Coming out of your traditional tight end spot, working against Zachary Orr. Got the little slip right there.
Wow.
They're running the ball better than they're throwing it right now.
Second and goal. Marshall in the backfield. From the Ravens 7. This is Marshall, and he is wrapped up by Suggs.
Nice job right here, kind of working down the line, gets back inside. That's very athletic, because I thought he came off the edge and squeezed it. He actually went down inside and then got back upfield with containment.
A loss of 4. Third and goal from the Ravens 11 as Wentz throws to the end zone. No flags. Tavon Young on the coverage.
Remember, we talked about situational awareness. That's Tavon Young out here. Dorial Green-Beckham, look at the size disadvantage right there. You know they're going to take a shot and just try and get something up high, and understanding where you are in the field, what the matchup is, and Tavon Young plays it really, really well.
Green-Beckham 6'5", Young 5'9", and now the Eagles will try for 3. 29-yard attempt. And the kick by Sturgis is good. So Philadelphia, following the interception, close to within 7 in Baltimore. Philadelphia Eagles pulling to within 7, 2:22 remaining.
Yeah, 3 timeouts, the 2-minute warning, so no need for the onside kick here. Now Eagles fans, everybody take a breath, okay? Doug Peterson obviously worked under Andy Reid. That's his mentor. You're going to say, oh my gosh, not Andy Reid and his clock management from back in the day. I went up to visit Andy Reid with the Chiefs this year. He spent time going over 1,200 scenarios, end of half, end of game, to come up with a plan. So you know that Doug Peterson is familiar with this. That's the time that we get. You've got to get that first score at 2:10 in a 2-possession game. They executed the first part. They did that. Now they've got to be able to turn around and force a stop here and get another opportunity to come down and get the game-tying possession.
Webb on the return for the Ravens, so 4 seconds run off the clock. Wentz hopes for another opportunity. 2:18 remaining. Flacco and the Ravens leading by 7. And as Darryl mentioned, Philadelphia with all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. From the 12, on first down, it is West. Breaking through, Benny Logan.
I think it'll be interesting to see how Morningway plays this out right here as well, because Monday night against the New England Patriots, New England, Josh McDaniel was very aggressive in the end-of-game scenario with his offense on the field, threw a pass, and also went for it on 4th.
Doug Peterson lets it run down to the 2-minute warning. Still has all 3 timeouts.
Is sponsored by Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Small screen, stadium-sized content. Watch live local Sunday games on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. On 2nd and 12, Ravens keep it on the ground with Terrence West, and now the Eagles will use a timeout. They did not use one prior to the 2-minute warning. They used their first here with 1:54 remaining, and we will send it to Los Angeles. Check in on the Steelers and the Bengals with Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. So Bengals up 2. Steelers had 6 field goals before this. Ben Roethlisberger converting to Eli Rogers for that 24-yard pass has Pittsburgh up 24-20 with just under 7 minutes left to play. Kenny, Daryl, and Laura.
Wow. Thanks, Carissa. Big comeback by the Steelers, who will look to win their 5th in a row. On a collision course, they will host the Ravens next Sunday. All right, so 3rd down and 11 for Baltimore. Eagles with 2 timeouts. John Harbaugh's Ravens leading by 7. And the Ravens will keep it on the ground with Dixon. Fans not happy, and they will punt it away. Peterson uses his 2nd timeout here.
Very, very conservative play calling there. Nice job by the Philadelphia Eagle defense. If you're going to throw in that situation, maybe 1st down, we talked about potentially taking the timeout by Philadelphia. And so, you know, in that situation, maybe the best opportunity for Baltimore to attempt the pass to get into a 2nd down and short was that 1st down snap. And then all of a sudden, you have the negative play. Now you're going to be very conservative coming forward. So, well done by the Eagles defense, though.
They've added 2 seconds onto the clock. Bonus coverage coming up. Packers and Bears. Aguilar back deep. You saw how excited Jim Schwartz was about that stand by his Eagles defense. Aguilar moving to his right. He will let it bounce.
Boy, did he get lucky. The second one he has let hit the ground. If you're not comfortable catching that punt, then find somebody on your team who is, because if that ball hits and takes off, you can get 15, 18 yards of run out from that punt.
So here comes Carson Wentz. The Eagles trail by 7 with 1:39 remaining. They have 1 timeout. They've had the ball for 12 minutes more than the Ravens today. They put together some long drives, 17 plays, 13 plays, 11 plays, all culminating in field goals. They need a touchdown here.
Well, here we are, right? We talked about it right at the very top. The way Baltimore plays, one possession games. They're 5-3. Philadelphia is 0-5. Can they get their first win of the season in a one-possession game this afternoon?
All right, here we go. Wentz on 1st down over the middle. It's complete. And out to the 49-yard line is Jordan Matthews for a gain of 8.
That's what I'm talking about right there. You know, is it worth the 3 or 4 seconds fighting for that extra yard and a half? If you catch the ball and you get bottled up, just get on the ground, get to the next play. Save those seconds.
2nd down and 2. Wentz with time, he throws. And it is incomplete. Aguilar with right defending. 3rd down and 2 upcoming.
I thought Sharice Wright was going to have an opportunity to make the play on the ball. Gets past him. Nelson Aguilar just can't make the catch. Would have been a great catch, but that's how you win games like this. You make those critical plays.
3rd down and 2. Marshall set up to the right of Wentz. Wentz over the middle, and it's complete for a 1st down to Matthews. Jordan Matthews to the Ravens 47.
They may have found somebody with Byron Marshall. He does a heck of a job. We've seen him running the football, but real well done in pass protection in a tough situation.
Wentz escapes and then throws it away. Terrell Suggs again with the pressure. 44 seconds on the clock to Los Angeles. Carissa.
Kenny, Titans down 17-10 on the road in Kansas City. Marcus Mariota hands it off to Derrick Henry. Instead of tying the game, they go for 2. A failed attempt here. The 2-point conversion has them down 1 at the 2-minute warning. Kenny, Daryl, and Laura.
Wow, thanks, Carissa. And you wonder what Doug Peterson would do if the Eagles score a touchdown. Would he go for 2? 2nd and 10. Wentz throws. There is a flag.
Lots of time right there, and that one just sailed on Carson Wentz.
Prior to the pass, Illegal contact. Defense, number 57. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
C.J. Mosley.
And that's away from the throw on C.J. Mosley, working against Zach Ertz. That's the second one that Zach Ertz has kind of initiated the contact. It's been called on the Ravens.
Right. From the Ravens 41 with 38 seconds remaining. Wentz looking. Now he throws, and it's broken up by Shareece Wright.
Tight coverage by Shareece Wright. You have to feel that as the wide receiver, and you've got to work back. You've got to work back on the catch. You can't wait for it.
Three seconds to play in regulation. 2nd and 10 from the Ravens 41. Wentz on 2nd down. Fires. It is Ertz. And Zach Ertz makes the catch. Stays in bounds at the Ravens 17.
All right, Carson Wentz, go give a high five to Zach Ertz because you've got him wide open, and you really made him work for that one.
24-yard pass play. Got both toes in. Down to 26 seconds.
What a great catch.
From the Ravens 17. Wentz throws. He was looking for Ertz. With Ladarius Webb defending.
There's that play prior. Watch Zach Ertz. Watch how open he pops right here. And Carson Wentz just makes it a little bit more difficult for him.
.22 seconds on the clock. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles from the Ravens 17. Wentz throws, looking for Aguilar. There are 2 flags.
The Baltimore Ravens bring pressure. They talk about it being in their DNA. Gets one-on-one on the outside.
Number 36. The ball replaced at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
Tavon Young.
That is a really, really well-run route by Nelson Aguilar right there. He pressed the outside shoulder of Tavon Young, and as soon as he opened his hips, he broke across his face. He drew that penalty.
So the ball spotted at the 4. 1st and goal. Marshall in the backfield. 17 seconds remaining. Wentz on 1st down, and he throws it through the back of the end zone looking for Jordan Matthews.
This is a long throw right here, getting it all the way to that back pylon. Jordan Matthews on the out and up. Good coverage by Gerard Powers.
Down to 12 seconds. 2nd and goal from the Ravens 4. 3 wide receivers, Marshall in the backfield. Wentz looking, he spins. Wentz is inside the 5 to the end zone, he's in! Touchdown!
Wow. Now you know why this locker room loves this guy. He sits back. He's going to his right. Watch the spin out. Now he's got Eric Weddle. He's got Eric Weddle one-on-one. Who's going to win this battle? I tell you what, I'd have had my money on Eric Weddle. even Eric Weddle talked about the athleticism. We kind of talked about the difference of preparing for Brady last week, you know, probably the best quarterback that ever played the game, and now you've got a rookie coming in, and Eric Weddle said, you know, one of the things we have to account for is the athleticism.
Now, I asked you a minute ago, if the Eagles scored, does Doug Peterson go for 2 for the win?
Well, he is right now. That's why everybody's there. If he's kicking it, you've already made that decision.
Well, he used a timeout to think about it.
You wonder if he's going to ask his guys right now, what do you guys want to do? It's like you said, they're still alive in the playoffs, but realistically, they're not. They're not going to get to the playoffs. I mean, the scenario for them to do it, but you do take it one game at a time. Hey, let's win out, roll the dice, and see what happens. Maybe the crazy thing does happen, and we end up getting that spot. Here he goes. He's going for it.
Here comes the Eagles offense.
Jack Del Rio did it early in the season, and New Orleans got the 2-point in the victory. We just saw Mike Mularkey try it at Arrowhead against Kansas City and come up short. All right. Here you go, Ravens. You wanted it. You wanted to control your own destiny. You got it right here.
Matthews scored on the 2-point conversion earlier. It's Marshall in the backfield. 3 receivers set. Eagles going for 2 for the win, and the pass was deflected and drops incomplete.
Tough. Eagles, one of the best teams there are at batting footballs. We've seen a couple tipped at the line of scrimmage already this afternoon. The ball's going to come out quick, so they're going to get their hands up. But you got a deflected pass at the line of scrimmage. Pass interference is off.
C.J. Mosley getting a piece of it after Doug Peterson made the decision to go for 2 and the win after the Wentz touchdown.
I like the call by Doug Peterson.
I do too. Not sure the Pittsburgh Steelers like it.
No, but I tell you what, this Ravens team, if they get into the playoffs, they are battle tested. Obviously, the big game is next Sunday, Christmas Day, against the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. We saw their record here at home. We've seen their record on the road this year. You know, can they pull it off? Can they earn that right to win the AFC North? And if they do and they get into the playoffs, because they win so many close games, they're now 6-3 this season in one-possession games.
So with 4 seconds remaining, Eagles down by a point. And now a timeout is taken by the Ravens. Great job by our entire crew today, led by producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, our associate director Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marmero, technical producer Sid Drexler, technical director Jared Legrani, our statistician Dave Corris, joined by Ricky Camps, and our spotter Ben Boma. Up next for the Ravens, the Steelers on the road next Sunday, and then finish up in Cincinnati. And the Steelers lead the Bengals by 4 with under 2 minutes remaining. The Eagles, with a late field goal and touchdown, go for 2, did not convert. And now the onside kick, it is recovered by Anthony Levine, senior of the Ravens. So Baltimore will run out the clock and go to 8-6 on the season. Doug Peterson was a quarterback on that 99 Eagles squad. Andy Reid's first season. John Harbaugh, the special teams coach. So they were together in Philadelphia. And it will be the Ravens who are victorious. A 1-point win, 27-26. Ravens over the Eagles. So for Daryl Johnston and Laura Oakman, this is Kenny Albert from Baltimore.